we love a stretchy ass topic, right? Okay, you ready? We're gonna dive in. When I was working in restaurants, I worked in a restaurant in New York City that was very high profile, and a lot of celebrities went there because it was owned by a very prominent magazine editor in New York City. And this very cute, very young, very popular, very hot actor came in a couple nights in a row when I worked there, and we had like a thing. Like there was a connection. Like we were making so much eye contact. We were kind of like flirting and dancing around the restaurant together. And he really wanted me to go home with him, and I could feel that. And my manager even pulled me aside and was like, Yarrow, he wants to go home with you. Like, are you gonna do it? And I was like, absolutely not. Who the fuck do you think I am? And he was like, what do you mean? That's so and so. And I was like, I don't care who that is. I will not demean myself in this way and just sleep with him when I'm a server. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a server. I worked in beautiful restaurants. I worked with wonderful people. I worked with so many lovely humans. Truly, some of my favorite people in the world are people I met while I worked in restaurants. But it was not the power, it was not me in my full power. It was not me amplified. It was not where I was going, right? And I wasn't going to be the girl who went home with the hot actor just to sleep with him because of who he is. That is not respectful, and to me, it's not honoring of me. Now, there are many ways that we could look at this, right? Like a lot of women would have been like questioning whether he actually wanted to go home with her. Or maybe they would have gone home with him and then been angry when it didn't turn into something afterwards. Or maybe they would have gone home with him and then been like pedestaling him. And I want women to do none of those things. I want women to relate the way I related. Like it was such a fun, flirtatious connection. And I went home and I actually dreamt about him. And there was like a real connection. There was a thread there. But I wasn't going to demean myself in that way. Like I have value. And I knew my innate value was greater than going home with this actor. And who knows? Sometimes I think there are stories where you go home with the actor and it turns into a thing. That wasn't what I was feeling through the connection. I wasn't feeling that. I wasn't in a place for that. I was truly listening to like, yeah, this is a fun, cute flirtation, but like this isn't for me. I'm not meant for this. Like this is this is like this is fun. And I'm laughing because it's like there are so many different shades we can color this with. Some women might have been mad that he was flirting, like, oh, how dare he? Who does he think he is, right? But that's just a defense mechanism for whatever's happening underneath. Maybe you don't feel good enough. Maybe you feel scared. Maybe you feel like, resentful towards men because they admire your beauty. Like there are so many different ways that we can look at this. I want women to know their innate value, to be able to listen to what is true for me, what is attachment energy, what is seeking saving energy, what is seeking attention energy, versus what is truth, what is coming from my heart, what is coming from my soul, and not to give men so much power. Now, here's the thing that happens is sometimes when women decenter men, right, because this is a big thing right now, which I have done for the last 25 years, when they decenter men, they then become resentful towards them. And sometimes I see this in women who are married, and I'm like, God, that man must have no self-respect that he's married to a woman who very clearly hates men. And she'll be like, oh, but my husband's amazing. I'm like, he's a man. There's no way that he can feel good about the fact that you're talking shit about men all the time. Like, I love men so much. I have been obsessed with Guns N' Roses lately. This is like a side tangent. We're going on a side quest right now. I've been obsessed with Guns N' Roses lately, and I just watch them and I'm like, God, I love men so much. Like I know they were raw and they were dirty and they were kind of like, aggressive and violent in certain ways, which like that's a whole other video. We could talk about like where that comes from, why that is, but also they had creative genius. And a lot of women just chased after that and then were surprised that these men with creative genius and trauma that they haven't processed are violent. Are we really surprised by this? Is this a surprising thing? Like, you have to understand what you're walking into when it comes to engaging in a sexual relationship with a man or with another human, with any other human. You have to understand what you're walking into. And so often people don't. And then they want to blame, or they're seeking something outside of themselves and they don't realize they're seeking outside of themselves and then they want to blame. So here was this hot actor, super hot. If I told you all who he was, you'd be like, Yarrow, really? You're an idiot. Why didn't you go home with him? Because that's not who I am. I know myself. I love myself. I value myself. And I wasn't feeling that. Now, if I had been feeling that, I would have gone home with him. It's not that I have to be in a relationship with someone. My bangs are driving me a little crazy. It's not that I have to be in a relationship with someone in order to be with them. It's that it has to feel like my true north. Hello, and welcome to the ROK Way of Healing, Expanding, Spiritually Transforming, and Mastering Energetics. I am your host, Yarrow, leadership and spiritual mentor, nervous system genius, clinically trained therapist, and all around energetic sorceress, which means I'm a master of energetics. And there is nothing more powerful than understanding the energetics of your innate power as a woman and your ability to magnetize men and how you relate to that. Like, I always see women shit talking men on threads, on Instagram, like angry that they're being admired. Like, why are you angry about that? If you don't like the energy, if it feels sleazy, if it feels extractive, you're a literal energetic sorceress. Like, block it out. Block it out. I did a whole YouTube about this a couple weeks ago. Just block it out. Like, until women know their power, know how to work with it, know how to honor it, know how to like be energetic sorceresses with it, we're gonna have these problems because women are made to be admired. We're beautiful. We're soft. We're like men want to touch us. That's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Where we get into problems is that women have not been taught how to work with this energy. Like, we literally should be taught this from the time we're like 12 and 13 years old when we get our periods. Like, when we have our first menstrual start cycle, we need to understand the power of our sexual energy, which is also our creation energy. And I am on a mission to teach every woman the power of this, because until women know the power of this, we're going to have so many problems in this world. There was another time that an old actor came in, one who everyone loves, and I won't name names, but he came in and he was not my table. But, at the end of the night, I'm like doing the rounds and he keeps looking at me and he keeps looking at me, he keeps looking at me and he keeps looking at me. And I walk over, I'm like, sir, can I get you anything? He's like, you can walk up and down here a couple more times. I like looking at you. And I was like, I just laughed. And then we ended up having like a nice little banter. And, I went on about my night. Now, when I tell that story, a lot of women are like, oh, God, I can't believe it. He did that. I'm a beautiful woman. Of course, he wants to look at my ass. I have a nice ass. Like, why are we offended by that? Now, you get to decide how you relate to this. You can be offended, you can project on him, you can be angry because I was in my 30s and he's probably in his 70s. But, like, why? What does that give you? Instead, I just kind of laughed about it, had a nice little talk with him. He thought my name was weird as fuck. And I went about my life, and I have a great story to tell because it's funny. Like, it didn't hurt me. Why would I not want to be admired for my beauty? I get to decide who has access to it intimately. I get to decide what that means about me if someone's checking me out. If someone's looking at me in a creepy way, I literally get to decide whether or not they actually have access to my energy. Like, I can block out their energy. I get to decide this because I'm an energetic sorceress, and so are you. You have not been taught that you get to decide this. You've been taught, oh, this guy's looking at me, it's making me creepy. I have to get small, I have to contract. Like, how dare he? It's his fault. He's doing this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, like, your boobs are hanging out, right? And that's not to blame, because here you're going to be like, oh, you're blaming women for how they're dressed. No, dress how the fuck you want. But can you hold the energy it's gonna attract? Can you hold the energy it's going to attract? Is there some weird, sneaky bullshit going on where you're looking for attention, but then not knowing how to hold the attention, which is coming from your inner child? Are you doing weird, sneaky bullshit where you're looking for attention, but you don't know how to hold the attention and it's coming from your inner child, and then you're going to blame someone outside of you? That is some manipulative shit. And you have to get honest about it within yourself. And I did a video about this recently. I have always known the power I held over men since I was like 16. I remember wearing a short skirt to school. It was floral. I remember the attention I received for it. I remember going, huh, this is some serious attention I'm getting with this skirt on. And I knew which days I could hold that and which days I couldn't. And I chose my outfit based upon my energetic frequency. Yes, at 16 years old. It's so funny because my business coach is often like, well, you have to show how this work has transformed you. I was with this specific work that I do, not everything that I talk about or everything I teach on, but this specific code of knowing how to work with my sexual energy, knowing what attention I can or cannot receive, knowing when to let the attention in, when not to let the attention in, knowing what the relationship's supposed to be, knowing when it's attachment versus something truth. This is a code I've carried since I was born. I can't tell you why, I just do. Like, I literally just carry this code, and I can teach you how to do it too. You have to be willing to look at all of the different layers of bullshit that you're carrying, because you're carrying a lot of bullshit. And you might be like, Yarrow, that's mean, or Yarrow, that's not true, or women have been, villain or like excuse me, victimized forever. Yes. And part of the reason, not all of the reason, part of the reason is because women have not been taught how to master their energetics around their sexual energy. Women are beautiful. We're beautiful. We just are. And we're meant to be admired. We're meant to be adored. We're meant to be chased. We're meant to be courted. That's the word that was I'm looking for in my brain. We're meant to be loved. We make men crazy. But we forgot this, and we've given our power away. And now what's happening in the world right now is men aren't trying because women are chasing. Women are not adorning themselves. They're not honoring themselves. They've not been taught, like, probably 200 years ago, we were just taught to withhold, which that's not it either. But then we were taught give it all away, and that's not it either. There is a way, there's an art form to this. There is an art of how to flirt, how to pull back, how to know what's true, how to know when you're in a deep connection with a man who you're meant to hold to his divinity, which means holding up the mirror to yourself and to him. There is an art to knowing, like, am I meant to just have a sexual fling with this person because it's going to open me up? There was a man who I did that with in my early 20s and another one in my 30s, and catalyzed new pieces of me forward. But are you able to attune to what is this relationship meant to be? Are you able to attune to what is this relationship meant to be? And this is what I do, the work I do with my clients. And it's some of the most important work you'll ever do. Like, you're always out there chasing the fantasy, right? Like, oh, I'm going to get the perfect relationship or all the money or all the love or all the things. And like, you're sold. I just did this class actually the other day about content, and they were like, sell them the red velvet cake, not the organic broccoli, which, like, sure, I could sell you the red velvet cake. But the truth of life is that life is going to kick your ass, and it's going to transform you, and it's going to alchemize you, and it's going to break your heart, and you're going to get betrayed. And then you're also going to have joy and magic and love and connection. And like, one of the examples with the red velvet cake she used was like, you're having sex with a conscious king. Sweetheart, you think you want a conscious king. Do you know what you really want? True, deep love. Like a man who titillates you and excites you and riles you up and loves you and adores you, and you have this magnetic connection with, but also you can stand in the kitchen and cook together like you've known each other for 1,000 years. You want true love. This conscious king bullshit, this idea, this fantasy of what you think you want, it's all a bunch of shit. And you're being sold that all day long. And you're going to buy that because you're going to think that's going to get you the feeling you're looking for inside of yourself. And what I'm teaching you is how to come so fully back to yourself that you feel so full of your own energy that you no longer give it away. You no longer leak it. You no longer blame. You no longer judge. You know how to work with your own energetic vibration, that you decide who gets to have your energy, who gets to see your sexual energy. And when you pull it back, the creepy man goes away. When you pull it back, the creepy man goes away. It's so hard for us to believe that's true. There's something, breakfast in my teeth. It's so hard for us to believe that's true. We think other people have control or power. We think the men have power. And then we become resentful and angry and bitter about that. And then we're hateful towards men. And the path forward is creating divine union within you. Your divine masculine, your divine feminine, creating that union so that when it's reflected out, you are creating a union outside as well. And as you dance through life and as you move through life, you are meant to draw attraction. You're a fucking goddess. Like, you don't know this. If you're surprised or angry that a man is catcalling you, then you don't understand your own power. If you don't know how to work with the energy of, oh, I'm being catcalled, let me pull my energy back in because that's going to close off my field and they're going to go away. So what happens is you don't know what's happening, and then all this sexual energy is leaking, and then these men are coming at you and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And you're like blaming them, but then secretly you're wanting the attention because no one told you how fucking beautiful you are. But then you're blaming them because then you feel guilty for wanting the attention. You feel shame about it. So then you pretend you don't want them. And then you keep projecting onto them. And then we live in this world that we live, which has so much division between men and women, which then creates so much division in the world because men and women literally create life. We create life. I love men so much. And I want you to love men too and not say, oh, yeah, I do, but just these other ones. No, all of them. We have to love them all. And your work is to learn how to work with your sexual energy. So if a hot young actor comes and wants to fuck you, you decide, does this feel my true north? You don't pedestal him. You don't villainize him. You don't make him better than you. You don't make him wrong for it. You know how to work with it. What's true for me here? Do I enjoy this? I enjoyed it. I loved the flirtation. No, I didn't want to go home with him because that wouldn't have been in alignment for me. But I loved the flirtation. I thought it was super fun. I enjoyed it. And the older actor liked my ass. It was fun. It's fun. I enjoyed it. I also know how to pull my energy back in, and I don't make it mean anything about me. I don't feel like it's degrading because, of course, he likes my ass. I'm beautiful. And I want you to feel that way as well. And you might think, this doesn't have anything to do with your desires and what you want to create with in your life. Like, I promise you, it has everything to do with it because your sexual energy is your creation energy. And until you know how to work with, hone, honor, channel, and allow yourself to be admired in that way or to pull your energy back, you're constantly going to be outsourcing your power or your energy, and you're going to be subtly disconnected from your womb, from your pussy, from your body, from the parts of you you need to be connected to move through the world with ease and freedom and joy. And that means like being able to dance your way down the street no matter where you are, not caring who's watching, being able to gracefully smile and say hello to people and not make it mean anything if they don't say it back, being able to drive down the street with ease and grace. And if someone cuts you off, you're not like losing your shit. Like these micro moments create the macro. And we so often buy like, oh, the 100K months or the perfect relationship or the perfect body. None of that matters if you feel like shit inside. If your subtle energetics are based on attachment energy, seeking saving energy, seeking your unmet childhood needs to get met, seeking attention, crafty ways of trying to get attention, instead of getting attention for being the magnetic vibration of you. We're in the 6th month of the ROK Way Mystery School, and it is self and energetic mastery and the magnetism of you. And we all carry these unique codes. And my work for them is to really get honest about the unique codes they carry in the world. And that happens in the micro moments. That's what creates your macro. Like if you could make 100K months, or you could have what seems like the quote unquote perfect relationship, but if you still are wanting to lose your shit every time someone cuts you off, or you're still making it mean something about you if someone catcalls you, or you're still having anxiety every time when you wake up in the morning and feeling like you have to run through your day, or if you're attaching on to symptoms like PCOS or endometriosis or headaches or ADHD, or now you think you have autism, which like don't even get me started. Y'all don't have autism. Like if you're still relating in that way, then you don't feel good inside. And I want you to feel lit up and juicy and alive through every cell of your being. And when you know how to honor the beauty of you, the power of you, the magnetic sexual energy and allure of you, when you know how to do that, everything in your life feels joyful and lit up and free, including when your heart gets broken, because our hearts get broken. That happens. That's a real thing. And if you're avoiding that and you're thinking everything's going to be quote unquote perfect, you're avoiding yourself. If you're avoiding the shame you feel for whatever it is, you're avoiding yourself. Like maybe you feel shame because you trigger people. Maybe you feel shame because men are always checking you out or always did when you were like a teenage girl and you didn't know how to hold it and no one taught you how. Like, love that teenage girl. She needs a lot of love. It's one of the things I want to do is get into schools with teenagers so I can teach them how to work with their sexual energy so that they know how, so that they don't go through that. They understand the power that they carry. Like whatever you're making yourself wrong for, like, just get honest about that. Instead of projecting or blaming or avoiding it, like, be with the shame of that and learn how to not make yourself wrong for being human and for the things that you were never taught. So, if this conversation lights you up and you want to join us in the Juicy Nectarine, the first live call is tomorrow, which is the 21st of July, 2026. If you're watching this, if you want to buy the Juicy Nectarine and do it on your own, that is an option as well. We also have the mastermind calls, which are intimate calls where you're going to do individual processing that start next Tuesday, the 28th. So reach out on Instagram if you would like to hear more. Make a comment underneath. Send me an email on my website, yarrowk.com. And I'm so excited for you to start to implement this into your life. Like, I would love to hear, take notes, tell me in the comments what came alive for you through watching this video.